Hey geeks, I'm Trey Guillotine, and today I'm breaking down the first full-length trailer of Netflix and Marvel's next series, The Punisher. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it so others can join in the conversation. Let's geek out.
It's plenty of time now that you're home.
Shoot on sight.
My pleasure. What do you know about my family?
I don't know anything.
Fair enough. They killed my family to get to me. I was part of a covert CIA operation. The man in charge wants me dead. Homeland. The FBI. Everybody's part of this.
You and me, we want the same thing. So work with me.
On one condition. I'm gonna kill them all.
Yeah, I can live with that.
You're gonna see your family real soon.
Frank Castle's back.
The Punisher, he's dead.
This look like the work of a dead man to you.
Okay, so let's get into the madness that is that trailer. So first off, it starts with, I'm guessing that this is going to be a dream sequence, because you see him, he's kind of flashing back to his family, and it shows that he and his wife are talking, and that someone comes in and shoots his wife in the back of the head. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. That's not how her death happened in Daredevil Season 2, how they explained that it happened in Daredevil Season 2. So I'm guessing that this is going to be some kind of dream sequence. It's also interesting that they talk about how they killed his family to get to him. I don't know 100% how accurate that's going to be, because again, that's not how things played out as were explained in Daredevil Season 2. What happened in Daredevil Season 2, or as was explained in Daredevil Season 2, is that he had just come back from war, from Afghanistan, from overseas. He was having a picnic in the park with his family. They were riding the carousel, and that a drug deal / sting just went terribly wrong. Lots of people were killed, including his family, and that it wasn't that he was targeted. It was more along the lines that he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But that's also interesting because it ended up that the person that was behind the whole thing was his old commanding officer. So maybe there was some kind of conspiracy against him and his family, having something to do with him that happened when he was overseas. And I mean, from the start, I love the music that they picked for this trailer. That is such just a kick-ass song. I don't know who it's by. I don't know the name of the song. I've heard it before. In, different action scenes. It's just such a badass song, and it fits perfectly. And I love the way that they make the music and the gunshots kind of resound with each other. They kind of match each other as the trailer's going. That's something that they've done before. I always think that's a really cool thing when you match the action of the scene to the soundtrack that's playing over. I think that's just a really cool thing to do.
Shoot on sight.
My pleasure.
So it looks like that the people that he's going against is actually the U.S. government, the CIA, the FBI, Homeland Security, basically the government, or at least someone at the top who is controlling these agencies, sending them after the Punisher. And I'd be really curious to see who that character is and how basically the U.S. government are involved. Are these corrupt officials? Are they actually trying to do something good? Now, the police and the district attorney that I was dealing with in Daredevil season 2, the DA wasn't as corrupt, but she was very sketchy. She was very underhanded. But a lot of the cops that he was going after, while maybe not the nicest, maybe not the greatest of cops, were still pretty straightforward cops. I'm curious about the agents that are going to be involved in this series, if this is going to be like a rogue faction of the FBI going after him, or if he's actually fighting the actual justice-serving FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, all these different legal and on the right side of the law agencies, because the Punisher is a criminal. There's the line that a vigilante kind of steps on, like Daredevil, like he's doing good for the community, but he's also taking the law into his own hands, or Iron Fist, or Luke Cage, or any of the different defenders, except for Jessica Jones. She's kind of on the right side of the law because she's a licensed private investigator. But the Punisher is on the exact wrong side of the law. He crossed that line and kept going. Like, he is a straight-up murderer. He is a criminal. He is a cold-blooded murderer. So I'm curious to see how the government is going to be involved in trying to take down the Punisher. There are also a couple of shots, and it's just two different shots that we actually see some returning characters from Daredevil and just the MCU in general. We have Karen Page showing up. I can't remember the name of the newspaper, but she's a journalist now, so it makes sense that she will be following the case of the Punisher, especially with her, I guess, close ties and kind of friendship with Frank Castle, that she would be interested in following this case and helping him if she can. And then there's also Brett Mahoney, who I'm really glad to see back, who, we saw him in the first season of Daredevil as a cop. He's now risen to be a detective, so it looks like he's heading up the case, at least one murder scene by the Punisher, and it looks like he's going to be on the Punisher's case. So hopefully he doesn't get in the way of the Punisher and the Punisher kills Brett Mahoney, because I think Brett Mahoney is a really good character and a really good cop. So it would really suck for the Punisher to end up killing him. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that might be like the one person, like him and Karen might be like the couple of people in this series that might be safe. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of people who are going to die. A lot of named characters who are going to be brutally murdered by the Punisher, and I think these two characters are probably safe from that. And then there's the skull on the vest, which is the iconic logo of the Punisher, the skull. And something I really loved about Daredevil season 2 and how they implemented the Punisher into that season was the skull. The skull that was being passed around, it wasn't what he was wearing on a shirt or what his like calling card was. It was the X-ray scan of his actual skull with the bullet that was lodged in his brain, giving him a kind of brain damage. And I love at the end of season 2 of Daredevil that he looked at the skull and he was like, fine, you want me to be the Punisher? I'm gonna be the Punisher. And he puts the skull on his vest. I'm glad to see him still doing that and kind of embracing that imagery. It's very frightening. It's very intimidating. So if you see this big dude armed to the teeth with a skull on his vest, I'd be running the other way. Unless it was actually John Bernthal, then I'd be like, dude, can I have your autograph? Can I take a picture with you? Because I think you're a fantastic fucking actor. I think he was one of the best parts of Daredevil season 2 was his performance as the Punisher. So I'm so excited to see John Bernthal renewing that role in a full series in this role. And the thing about him is that, from what I've seen 3 different versions. I've seen 3 different performances of the Punisher. Tom Jane's performance as the Punisher, which he himself wasn't bad. The movie sucked, but he himself was okay. And you see that a lot better in the short film Dirty Laundry, that was just a Punisher short film starring Tom Jane, with him as a Punisher. You see him as the Punisher, and it's a lot better than what the Punisher movie was. And then there's Punisher Warzone, where Ray Stevenson played the Punisher, where there wasn't a whole lot of, from what I remember, story or dialogue. Like, he didn't talk that much. It was basically just like 2 hours of Ray Stevenson beating the crap out of people and shooting people. It was just complete carnage. And I mean, I thought it was awesome. I like good action stuff, so I really enjoyed this movie. But I wouldn't say it was it wasn't a good movie in the sense that, oh, it had a good story. Like, it was just 2 hours of carnage, and I loved it. But with John Bernthal's performance, not only was he that very brutal killing person, he also had that emotional side where, like, there's the scene of him and Daredevil talking about his family in the graveyard. I cried in that scene. Like, it was a very emotional scene, and he nailed it perfectly. He was such a good actor. He was the perfect choice. He was the perfect choice for the Punisher. When they first announced it, he wasn't even on my radar aside from The Walking Dead. And when he was announced as a Punisher, it was like a click, and I was like, yes, that is a perfect casting. Just from this trailer alone, this is going to be a very violent, very heavy series. This will probably be the most violent and the most mature series that Marvel has put out. And I do love that the Punisher is the most anti-hero, the least superhero hero that we're getting a series from. I mean, yes, he's technically considered a superhero, I guess, in the same way that Black Widow or Hawkeye is a superhero, is that he's very skilled. But I love that he's unapologetic. I think that's because Marvel movies and TV shows have had very, very anti-hero like heroes before. You've had Tony Stark, you've had Doctor Strange. Both were complete egomaniacal assholes who, you know, through the course of their movie, they rise above it and they become a little more selfless and heroic, and they're still snarky in their personalities, but they're not as self-centered or selfish. You have Jessica Jones, who's very just standoffish, and she kind of like rises to the occasion to be that hero. This, on the other hand, I think Frank Castle is going to remain that anti-hero. There's no him rising to the occasion to overcome his character flaws. No, he is his character flaws. He is embracing who he is, what he is, and what he is doing. And I don't think that's going to change. I don't think there's going to be like a character arc of him developing from one kind of character into another one. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that he needs to be that if you want to do this character right, if you want to do what this character, in my opinion, should be, it needs to be that very just unapologetic. This is his mission. This is what he's doing. He's taking out anyone who gets in his way. No, I'm not condoning violence or murder or anything like that. This is a TV show. It's fiction. But I think he needs to stay that just not heartless, but brutal character. He needs to stay that character. I don't want to see him, you know, at the end of the series, he's learned his lesson and he's now a brighter, more selfless person. No, he has his mission and he's doing it. That's the Punisher that I want to see. When you're planning your next Wizard World Comic-Con experience, make sure you use the discount code Guillotine Geek to get 10% off your ticket purchase, and use those savings to buy some merch or meet a celebrity. What did you think of the Punisher trailer, and are you as excited for the series as I am? Let me know in the comments and follow me on all the internets. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it so others can join in the conversation. You can check out my written reviews at guillotinegeek.blogspot.com, which I will be reviewing each episode of The Punisher. You can support my future content by becoming a supporter on my Patreon and subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching and have fun. So Captain America, Thor, Hulk.